Hello. Have you ever struggled to close out your budget? Do you know how to close out your budget? Why would you close out your budget? So, these are some questions I'm going to answer today. Hello, and thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the Budget Tea. I am Tanya. I am a 55-year-old hybrid budgeter, cash stuffer. And so, because I do a lot of things online with my accounts, but I use cash for my problem spending areas, it's very important for me to close out my budget. So, I'm going to show you how to do it. So what you're going to do, this is my actual budget. So it looks like a lot, but what you're going to do is you're going to take your beginning balance, what you had in your account when you started your budget. Okay. So I had, I'm probably supposed to write like this, $540.40. Okay. Then I use the highlighter method. And so what I do is I take colored highlighters. So here's my food highlighter. So I like these mild liners. They work really well. You can write with them as well, but I just use them for highlighters. So they don't go through the paper. They just work really well. I really like these. They have lots of colors. So obviously I have lots of categories here. So I separate like items. So for example, all my bills are pink. My food is blue. Here's the bills. Okay. So then what I do is I add up all of the same colors. Okay. So for my income, my total income, once I add up all the green, okay, or inflow income, because it's not just income. Some of this is sinking funds, but for the month, my total income was like pay, my side hustle, a refund, transfer in from sinking funds, transfer in from sinking funds. So my total income for the month was 7,000, or for this account. Okay, this just for this account, $7,226.74. And that together is 776714. So that is the total. So that's my beginning balance and my income only. So then I add up all of my categories. So for bills, I was at 55, 66, 28. For food, I was at 11.89. So I use cash for food. Not usually this card. This was just a very unique circumstance. I ordered food from work and somebody else went to get it, so I paid the $11.89 on the app. So, and it was connected to this account. So $11.89 for food. Vacation was $130.14. Tithe was $3.84. Miscellaneous was $507.72. And self-care was $100. Okay, and I've written them, I added them up already and I wrote them down here. So we're going to take all of these totals. So we're going to do 55, 66, 28, and 11.89, 130, 14, 384, 507, 72, 100. That gives me 6,703 cents. Okay, now the next thing you need is your ending balance. So how much did you have left? So in the account at the end of this time, I had 1067.11. I'm going to write that right here. So I'm going to add 1067.11 to that number, and I get the same number I have up here, 7767.14. This means that this account has been tracked and reconciled and is exact to the penny. Okay, so this is how you close out your budget. So you start by going through all of your accounts, depending on how many accounts you have and how you have your budget set up. And a lot of people have sinking funds and a high yield savings account. So I have that separately, and that I'll show you. That looks like this. So all of this teal color here, all of this money, $2,600, went straight to savings into these sinking funds. Okay, so And I broke them down by which one, where they are, where I wanted to put the money, depending on my priority for the month. And then I also used an American Express, and then I pay it off every month before it's due. So I never pay interest on my American Express. And so there's these things that say do not count payment, do not count. These are payments that I've made to the American Express to get it paid off. So this, you take your beginning balance plus your income. So this is what you have to work with. Then you take the money you spent plus the money left in the account, and those two numbers should match. That is how to close out your budget. So this was just one account. So this is just for that particular account budget, but it was much easier to do it to show you than my very complicated end of month closeout. So actually, okay, so this is pencil. I'm sorry, it probably isn't quite as easy to see, but I'm working to figure out how I want my form to look. So this is my end of month, closing out my budget for all of my accounts, all of my money. So the first thing you do is you take your income for the month, the entire month, plus any other money that you got in. So this is income from work, retirement, etc. Then I took some money from sinking funds. Now remember, your sinking funds are funds that you're going to use and you just have saved the money over time. So my daughter got engaged, and so I spent a lot more money than usual. So I pulled in a lot more money than usual. I had some other money that came in. And so my total inflow or income or intake for the month was $14,841. Now, that's what I had in there. So this big one, I don't usually budget all the way down to the penny because it just gets very complicated. So I usually just drop the change totally, because I also have money that I left in a buffer. So for bills, I spent $31.79 this month on bills total. Those are my fixed expenses. I don't have debt. I don't have credit card debt. I don't have a car payment. So $31.79 for bills, which was 21% of my income. My budgeted amount was $3,000. And so I was over on my budget by $179. Why was I over by $179? I have no idea. So this is the hard part about reconciling your budget. You have to kind of look through everything. I did spend a little more on gas than I normally do. And so that's probably half of it. And I need to adjust my electric bill allotment. And then I also counted my Apple storage and my Apple Music come out at the end of the month. So I also counted when it came out at the end of the month, when it came out at the end of June, and then when it came out at the end of July. So that's how. So this isn't anything for me to worry about because it's not that much compared to what my bills are. And I didn't have any extra bills. So I'm not going to worry about this too much because these are fixed expenses, and the water, the electric, they adjust a little bit. So food, this is terrible. I spent 7% of my entire income on food, which was $1,165. My budget for food was only $600. Now I set myself up for failure with this because that is an unreasonable amount for me. Because I combined food and grocery and eating out to one food category, and we went to Disney. So I set myself up for failure with this. So I was over budget $565, and I bought the engagement dinner, which was $2 something, and then just eating at Disney and eating just because we weren't at home. So I should have given myself much more money for food, but I've learned, and I'll change that for next time. And so for vacation, I spent $2,543, which is 17% of my income, and my budget was $3,000. Now my total Disney budget was $4,000, but the airline tickets came out in June. So I had $1,000 budgeted for airline tickets, and then $3,000 for the rest, for entrance to the park and the park hopper passes and for spending money and the resort. So I was under budget at Disney. Crazy, right? I was under budget at Disney by $457. And then my notes here just say I paid for my flights in June. So my tithe was $646, and it should have been $879 because my income was $87.91. And I think I just got excited when I got my bonus and I just totally missed it. So I actually owe $233, and I'll pay an additional $233 next month so that I can catch up on my tithes. So, and that was 4% of my income, and it should be 10%. My miscellaneous funds. So if you've seen some of my other videos, this is where I really, really struggle is miscellaneous. I always have, this is like what some people would consider shopping money or extra money or spending money, but I don't allow myself to have as much as I spend. So I'm going to either have to really tamp down with my spending or I'm going to have to increase my budget. So my miscellaneous category, I spent $13.50, which was 9% of my budget, and I only budgeted $200, and that was cash for miscellaneous spending. I probably need to go up to $300 and maybe leave maybe $100 in here and 200 cash and 200 in the bank, but either way. So it was $11.50 over. So since my daughter got engaged, we went to James Avery. I got her a charm for a charm bracelet, and I got some other ones. I ordered some charms for my other daughter. And then I spent a bunch of money on Etsy and on Amazon for budgeting stuff. So this is crazy. I need to stop it, and I'm going to get a handle on this month. Self-care. I spent $300, which was 2% of my income, but my budget was only $200. I was over by $100 because I got a massage. Household. I don't usually have a household budget. So things like laundry detergent, trash bags, things like that, I usually just put those in with grocery. But I got furniture and 2 sets of really nice sheets. So I spent $863, which was 5% of my income. I didn't budget anything for household, so I was $863 over, and so it was furniture and sheets. For my kids, I only spent $60 because I did not count Disney and I did not count anything with the trip at all. So my youngest daughter and her boyfriend and I had dinner, and so that's $60. I could have put it up here with eating out, but I transferred the money to her because I had dental surgery and she picked it up. So I just put it under her name. So annual. So I spent $70 on annual expenses this month, which is 0.5% of my income. I did not budget any, but I should have. I just missed it and I adjusted it. So annual expenses are things for me that come up once a year. So things like car registration, car inspection, Lexus Inform. These are library memberships that I have, library cards, and I'm not a resident of these particular places, so I have to pay for those annual fee, and I just didn't keep up with when it was due. So I have remedied that. It is on there. They both got paid this month, so they should have been in my budget. They should have been on my budget calendar. I just totally missed it. And this budgeting is something I love to do, and I do almost every single day. I'm working in my budget, and for me to miss it, I just want you to know it's so easy. Most months I do really well, but it's not a big deal. Sometimes you'll miss it, but that's what a buffer is for. So it wasn't a big deal. $70, no problem. I have it marked for next year, and I'll be good to go. For medical, I had $63. Those were some co-pays. I didn't budget anything, so $63. I need to probably add some more medical to my budget. For special events, I had some birthdays this month. I had $300, 2% of my income. Spent $300. I wasn't over. It was just birthday money. And clothing, I spent $684, which was 4% of my income. I didn't budget anything for clothing this month, but I was $684 over because I didn't budget, and I should have because I knew I was going to Disney, but I ended up just getting some cooler things because of the temperature in Florida. So I did spend a lot of money. So even though I budget all the time, I was $3,214 over budget this month. However, I have good, reasonable explanations why I was over. And for my savings, I put $3,600 in savings, which was 24% of my income. My goal for this month was $3,500, so I was over budget with savings, which is always a good thing. So I'm very excited that I'm over budget with the savings. So if you want to know how I got these percentages, just regular math. So you take the percent number and then you divide it by the total, and then you times it by 100, and then it moves the decimal place to make it a percent. So that's how I get this. And I just am really close. I just round up. I don't do the change again. So this is my actual end of month budget. So what I'm going to do with this budget, this end of month sheet, is I'm going to look and see, do I need to add a little bit more money to my bills? I know my water bill is higher this month because my toilet was running, and so I had the maintenance guy come fix it, but I knew that it was running because I had to work. I had to kind of coordinate a time. So I know that my water bill will be higher this month. Food, I need to give myself more than $600. this is an unreasonable amount of money for me for food because I cook for myself, my fiance, and my mom. So I cook for myself all the time, of course, but my fiance half the time and my mom some of the time. So that is that's just not enough money for me. I do have another special event coming up next month, but it's not technically a vacation. So I'm just going to use this special category and spend the money from there. I will add the 233 to my tithes. Actually, I will add it right now. So add in from July 233. That makes this number wrong, but I'll adjust this when I have some time. So I'll get this adjusted, but I will increase that for my tithes. See if there's anything else that I need to adjust. I'm probably going to go up to $300 for miscellaneous. So let's do that right now. And I only had 200, so we are going to go up to 300. This whiteout tape is the best. Y'all use this? Okay. Let's see. I don't have any annual expenses coming out in August. Medical, I probably need to add $70 for medical. Special events, I already have that in there. And clothing, I do not plan to buy any more clothes anytime soon, so I am good there. So we will, I think I'm going to go up on my food too. I'm going to go to, I think I'm going to go up to, I'm going to do some food on my card. I'm going to do 300, and I'm going to do cash. I'm going to do 700. That is going to be my plan anyway. So that will be $1,000 for food. And if I would have been at $1,000, I would have only been 165 over budget, which I probably could have worked with that. So this is how I close out my budget. These are the things that are important to me. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that you close out your budget. I hope that you start working on your August budget. Today is the 30th of July. If you have any questions, if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. Send me a message. Please also like and subscribe. And I hope that you found this helpful. Have a great day. Bye.